Nothing of this world really matters the way we think it does. We don't see it the way it truly is. We get pulled into it just like we might get pulled into a board game. We think it's serious. We feel the need to win. We get upset when we don't. I find the smallest things can get under my skin and bother me. Like this plane flying overhead right now. How dare they, a part of me thinks. It amazes me when I'm observing myself how upset I can get after the smallest things. As if there's some ill will behind it. As if there's some negative intent behind it. But I think when it comes to much human effect in the world, and it's because of a lack of consciousness that things have this air of flawed design. It seems like much of our world has this air of flawed design. Like nothing really quite fits as we intuit things should. When I'm trying to work on my vehicle, I don't understand why the designers didn't make it easier to replace parts. Perhaps there's part of the design in that, as people suspect. But I also think that the people making decisions themselves were not rooted in a more intelligent design depth. There's something that's kind of escaping me right now as to how to describe this. I intuit it a subtler world where things just work. And I've intuited this for a long time. And I think there's many people that tap into this. I think our bodies and all of nature is rooted in this place. And yet our waking conscious mind that is doing much of the designing and arranging and organizing of our world is not tapping into that depth. And it compounds with each generation that is basing their life and their productivity on a previous generation of flawed design. Just like a trajectory that initially is only slightly off course, as that trajectory is followed further from the source, that deviation grows bigger and bigger. And I think that's where we are at right now, where the deviation is very big and we're aware that we're very off course. Even just today, I was feeling frustrated about my home and belongings and being organized and being in my space and feeling like it's easy to be in my space and not just look around at all of the jobs that I need to do. Just to stay on top of a mess. Seems like there's so many objects to arrange and put in their place. And I've come across this before where I wish that I had less belongings. And yet I want them to be there when I need them, when I want them. This again is a problem that I have thought about before, where more objects are shared and they're belonging to the community for their use. Many things can be used by many people as long as those people are mindful and respectful. Unfortunately, it seems like many people aren't. And I see this all the time. I see this at all levels of people that supposedly are capable, intelligent people, but they're not mindful. They're not present. And they're willing to cut corners with justifications of the more important things that they have to attend to. We need to slow down so that we have this alignment, this realignment occurring. We likely picked up bad habits from our family, from the world around us, We're setting our compass to a flawed map. Or we're setting it to a map when we should be setting it to a fixed star, something true and real. And what is true and real is the source within us that has the best answers to everything. When I look at the world, I feel heartbroken. But when I look at my heart, when I look within myself, I see a joyfulness. Because I remember that the world is just a game. It is a proving ground. It is a testing ground. But it's not more serious than a game. And we can laugh at somebody who takes Monopoly personally, whether they win or lose. We can look at that person and think how silly they are. But can we look at ourselves when we behave the same way about the world? Especially things that are out of our control, that we don't have any say in. What we do have say in is our attitude and our approach to what is right in front of us. And I find that when I slow down and when I take time for introspection, I get this message that there's no emergency. It's okay that there's dirty dishes on the counter. It's okay that the floor hasn't been vacuumed in a couple days. It's okay that there's some clutter. What's not okay is forgetting that inner source. Because when we're lost. We're lost in the chaos of the game. And the game is rigged. It's rigged against us. I think it's meant for us to lose. And what I mean by lose is lose faith in the importance of what is made important in the world by humans. I think eventually we're meant to be disenchanted by it, so that we come back to the source of the world, and that we remake it without losing touch with that inner being and that inner source. And I think maybe this cycle happens individually with each life, each birth and death, where we come and go and come and go and come and go. And there's larger cycles with civilizations. They come and go and come and go. The goal is in being congruent, in maintaining that inner connection with Source and bringing that fully into fruition in the world. And it's a great task. It's the great work. It's confusing, and it's a good thing that there's no perfect leaders in this. I think it's why there will be no physical return of a Messiah, because that would just perpetuate the flawed idea that salvation is outside of us. We're meant to find it within. The world is meant to fail us. And whatever beauty and success that we experience in the world is because we found it within ourselves. And we believed in it long enough to bring it to fruition in the world. In doing so, that's how our I am presence becomes an individuated human being. Religion is a poor substitute for this. Just as so many things in the world are a substitute for love. And we're very confused about what love is too, because love is not liking something. Love is not really liking something. Love is not a result of judgment. Deciding that something is good is also a judgment. Love is allowance. Love is seeing that allowance. Love is being that allowance. Love allows us to see Source everywhere, in others. But we have to feel it within ourselves first. We can only extend the amount of love, the degree of love, the capacity of love that we have found within ourselves. And then we extend it into the world. We extend it to our bodies, to our egoic identities, and then to others, and on outward. And I believe when we can love the whole world, that's because we know who we really are. And at that point, we are everything. There's the paradox of being nothing and everything at the same time. Because we're no thing. We're not separate. We're awareness, ebbing and flowing. We're like the wave and the ocean. It seems like a challenge to live a normal human life and have this awareness. I've had this experience where I felt such expansion, and I was frightened that I wouldn't be able to function as a human. Many times I've doubted my ability to navigate this world the way that most people do. Because I wasn't managing it well. I was failing, it seemed, in many regards. But I believe, actually, that failure has led me to a place that is the real goal. Not that it's complete, but that I'm clear about what my purpose, destiny, and satisfaction are. And that is, as I say, remembering the source within us, and staying connected with it, even while considering ourselves a separate human being. It is this kind of juxtaposition, dichotomy, paradox. But if we're connected, at least on a regular basis, we may not have that feeling all the time, but to at least dip into it every day, so that our awareness of it is refreshed. It's tuned. To that sensation of peace, of ease, if we refresh that connection on a daily basis, then we bring it to all our experiences. The challenging, the chaotic, the painful. And it helps to put them in the right context. That of a game, that of a drama. And all of it's okay. It's okay to be this drama. It's okay that we have feelings about it all. But just like an actor, there's a part of us that remembers that it's theater. It doesn't mean we don't fully live, but it means that living isn't so difficult. It doesn't feel so hellish. In fact, I don't think it feels like hell at all when we have that truth flowing through us. And it's not up to me to really say what is truth, because I think that's not even possible. I can only abstractly gesture towards it. In each moment, I have to rely on my own deeper understanding, my deeper sense, a feeling of what's true. Because it transcends the intellect. Its context is bigger. And I think the intellect even avoids it. It tries to protect itself from the more strange or abstract. It doesn't understand it, and what it doesn't understand, it's afraid of, and will readily describe as dangerous and fearful. But we have to recognize the limits of the intellect, understanding that it's only a component of who we are. And it has its weakness. It censors the emotional and the spiritual. It attempts to dominate those things and explain them away. But wisdom, which is much deeper than the intellect, would have us just know by being, by experiencing, and pausing, refraining from immediately intellectualizing things. Similar to what I'm attempting to do here, and how my speaking is a bit slower, because it's not as contrived. I'm leaning more into this space of wisdom, to allowing the words to just come more effortlessly. There's not an agenda, there's not a goal, other than a very kind of loose one, to speak honestly from a deeper, more authentic place. And sure, there's an intention that's evolving, that's emergent, that doesn't necessarily even seem to be fully my own. I mean, when I say my own, I even wonder, what does that mean? Because in self-reflection, I see that there are different motivations. They might be even diametrically opposed. They might be conflicting. A desire to be healthy and a desire to smoke a cigarette. So whose desires are those? I can only really know when I pause and listen a bit deeper. Create space for real reflection. Not just a quick reaction or impulse, but something that's coming from a broader perspective. I think everybody knows this. Everybody understands this, that we might on the surface want something. We might be easily influenced by what other people are doing. But then if we take the time to think about it, we get more in touch with more of ourselves. We feel what our body's telling us. We allow our imagination to kind of explore the possibilities and we listen for that inner guidance. We might want to initially please somebody else, but then we say, I'll get back to you about that. And then we consider a little bit more. But when we consider that a little bit more, what are we listening for? Do we actually take the time to quiet our mind. I felt that this is most obvious in moments of deep, profound pain. When I'm confused, I'm puzzled, maybe even horrified. I feel completely lost. And there's no obvious answer to me. There's not an easy answer. It's not even a difficult answer. There's no answer. Nothing makes sense. The intellect is just come to the end of its rope. And in moments like that, maybe we collapse out of despair. We have a bit of a death. And we just give up. Maybe we linger in that desert for a while because we don't know what to do. We're paralyzed. We're defeated. And we lose our sense of self because we've identified with that capable, superficial persona. This adult moving around in the world on the game board. That's who we think we are. And so when we can't play that role, then we're defeated. We're dead. But in those moments, we can actually find our true self. We can find this inner wisdom, this inner being, this inner light. That is where we've gotten everything from all along. All our ability, all our capability, all our drive, all our inspiration, all our creativity, our capability, our wealth, has all come from this deeper place. And yet we ignore that deeper place. We don't honor it. We don't take the time to listen to it. We take it for granted. But if we gave it a little more of our time, cleared some space for it, we'd find that it gives us the cheat codes of the game. They're not even cheat codes, they're the real rules, the real dynamics. The way the game was always meant to be played. But when we came onto the game board, the other players told us how to play it. We didn't look at the instructions. We took the advice of the people that were already lost in the game board. They were already defeated. Often, many of them, or at least had developed some kind of negative attitude about it. 99.9% of them were not listening within. They did not have a practice of mindfulness or connection with spirit, with source, with wisdom. Some of them may have said that they did, but they just gave out a substitute rule book, a pseudo dumbed down version of the rule book. The true rule book is not even rules. It's a fluid intelligence. And it dwells within each of us. And that fluid intelligence gives us all of the instruction that we need in each moment. It's whispering how to win in each moment. It knows the whole game, every in and out of it. And it knows it's a game. So it always advises with this cheerful attitude. It's always coming across in a way that says, play hard because you can't make a mistake. Take risks because there is no death. This is truly what I believe. This is what I experience when I take the time to listen within. And many, many times I've forgotten about the power, and I've given the power to the game. Because that retraining has come through the hardship of the game. The ladders up the levels have been found in the most unlikely of places. In the failures, in the hurt, in the dark nights, is where that ladder to the next level was found. even in this past short month and a little bit, it was through heartache and defeat. That I turned inwards and received guidance. And I receive it on a daily basis because I take the time to slow down and listen. It's the most important relationship in my life. My relationship with my inner being, with the divinity within myself. It is the most important thing in my life because it's the source of my life. And what I owe it in exchange for my life is the willingness to play the game. To play the game the best that I can. Because the game is improved by me playing it. All these things which seem to lack mindfulness, all the places in the world, all the elements that seem to not quite be right, not created with love or wisdom. Those things are asking for me to contribute to them joyfully. For the fun of it. For the creative pleasure of it. In all of the myriad of expressions, all the colors of thoughts and emotion, all I'm asked to do is show up for it and remember its source. Remember where it's all come from. Remember what gives it its everything. There's no theater without the lighting. It would just be props in the darkness. So it's the light of our consciousness that comes from the source within us that gives everything its realness, its aliveness, its everything. Our ability to experience it at all, to sense it, to contemplate it. All of that has come from deep within us, constantly emerging in each moment. That's where it's alive. The past is dead. The future is yet to be. This moment is real and alive. But what is it? You'll only know if you can come fully into the present. Well, you'll know it to the degree that you can come into the present. I don't know what fully means. I hope to find out. I think perhaps that's enlightenment. That's being a bodhisattva. That's our greatest aspiration, is to come fully into that awareness of one's source of being and focused in the world, manifesting as whatever. That play of Leela, that player of the game, but knowing that it's a game, knowing that one is an actor, knowing that one is God in disguise, revealing itself. And then we don't hold back. Then we can give that character full life, full presence. Again, what's full? That's not that useful just to describe it that way, but that attunement with self gives us insight, gives us all the insight we need to know as far as whether we're fulfilling our own purpose or not, whether we're giving it enough or not, or if there's room for improvement. The world will criticize us and tell us we need to be more or better or different. But when we are listening within, we receive the right guidance. And because it's loving and gentle, it's just encouraging. It's not using chastisement or negativity to encourage us to be more alive. It's using the wisest approach, which is gentleness. Because it knows that the nature of itself is joy. There's no necessity to do any of it. It's out of joy. In the context of forever, of eternity, there's no necessity. And death doesn't really exist. You have an infinite number of chances to get it the way you want it to be. So it really comes down to your personal assessment of how you're doing. Whether you're hitting the bullseye or missing the mark. And that's okay that we have that inner assessment. But if we have guilt or shame, that's always come from outside of us. It's always come from somebody that didn't understand well what is going on. They didn't understand well messages from the divine within them. They picked up some erroneous message from somebody else. And I don't know where that all began. But I do know how we can end that erroneous idea of sin. It's truly a misinterpretation of this desire to create, where we have this interest in improving. This interest in getting it right, of having things reflect that inner being, that inner intelligence. And it's a translation process. So it's not that there is a perfection that will be perfected. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly. But I believe the concept of Wu Wei gestures towards this. And that's something that helps me. Each day, just showing up, each moment, just listening within, and being willing to play the game with love.